Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio and Voices of the Great Beyond. It's our new chapter of this study that goes within. Remember, we're studying a book that is yet to be published, but we're relaying the message to you here. As we read and study this book, we want you to know that the good spirits are always willing to teach us if we're willing to learn. And today I'm going to share my screen pretty soon to relay to you the message that came through the medium Chico Xavier. It was the year 1957 in the small town Pedro Leopoldo in Minas Gerais, Brazil. And in a spirit center named Meimei, we have the beauty of a circle of people around the table, studying, praying, receiving messages. Those messages were recorded because they were spoken through the speaking mediumship of Chico Xavier, and then transcribed and published in this book. Today, we're going to talk about mental reflections. Let's see how it goes as we study this amazing message. Voices of the Great Beyond. Mental reflections. This message was brought in by the spirit of the physician, medical doctor, Alberto Seabra. He is renowned in Brazil. You see streets with his name, institutes. Why? He was born in a small city in the countryside of the state of São Paulo in 1872, named Tatuí. And he was the pioneer of painless childbirth. Can you believe way before the US and Europe got their hands in getting to know of how to bring about a child in this world pain-free for the mother? Alberto Seabra is the one that started it all. And he became a homeopathic doctor, so renowned that he brought the first homeopathic pharmacy in the state of São Paulo, a great advocate for homeopathy around, and he became a spiritist. He was a philanthropist, humanitarian. People say that he and another physician who is a spiritist, they helped thousands of people without being paid. And he's one of the founders of the University of São Paulo. We owe a great deal to Alberto Seabra. The University of São Paulo is the greatest university in the Latin America. And that university, he participated into the foundation of it. And he comes 7 years after his passing. He comes and gives us the following message. When the instructors of wisdom, he says, encourage us to study, they do not wish that we intellectualize ourselves in excess with the desire to humiliate others with the scintillations of intelligence. And when they recommend meditation, they certainly do not wish for us to incline ourselves towards idleness or useless ecstasy. So the question is here, why do we study? Why do we meditate? You remember last week when we studied a message about studying and the importance of study? Yes, Leoncio Correa. In that message, we got to know of the importance of studying to change our minds. So here comes another spirit of renowned stature telling us, we're not telling you to study so you humiliate others. We're not telling you to meditate so you feel like just relaxing, doing nothing. So my question to all of us is, our question, why do I study? I know people who flip the pages of books just to tell others that they know. That they meditate because that's a good excuse to do nothing. Is that why we do it? What is the reason why we read these books? Why we're here studying this? Is it to bring awareness? Is it to expand our horizons? Is it to expand our intelligence? Is it to help others? They refer the spirits, the superior spirits, he's saying. They refer to the need of our inner improvement, betterment, to promote a wider integration with the infinite light God, since mental reflections vibrate in everything. So he's saying mental reflections. Think about a mirror and the reflection of yourself in the mirror, right? If you don't show up in front of the mirror, there's no reflection. He's saying that our thoughts reflect onto everything. He's going to tell us more. In this way, we reflect constantly on each other. Oh my. We are constantly thinking, interacting with people, and our soul can be compared to a living mirror with qualities of absorption and exteriorization, meaning I absorb what others think and I reflect what I think. What are we absorbing from others without noticing? And how are we influencing others? It gathers life forces in thought waves that express themselves through words and attitudes, examples, and facts. Now, with social media, you agree. It's much easier to understand this. There's an ad about chocolate, and you say, no, I don't want to see this. And then another ad of chocolate, and then another ad. By the fourth, you go to your pantry or to the store and you eat chocolate, and you're like, what am I doing? Or you start researching about chocolate, and suddenly every social media you open is talking about chocolate. In our social media, we see the living example of what Dr. Seabra is telling us. What we think projects itself, what others think project on us. It is through mental reflex that, or reflection, that the phenomenon of affinity is established since the simplest kingdoms of nature. We're gonna see in nature, we'll give an example. He talks about dogs and owners. He says, when the friendship between a person and a dog is established, we can register the reflection of the higher mind of the human being over the fragmentary mind of the lower being, the human and the dog, then to live in a spontaneous regime of captivity to serve the owner and conductor whose mental projection exerts an irresistible fascination over it. Wow. So this reflection is beyond what the eyes can see. It's in our body language, in our vibrations. We connect. When you think, oh, I don't know why I was born in this family, think again. You think you ended up in this family by mistake? No, we attracted one another for reasons that lives, reincarnations can tell. We are responsible for our lives. The other day, a person told me, oh, if my father were not so in sync with his religiousness, I would have gone to college. If my father paid more attention to that. And I said, do you think so? You think God made a mistake placing you in that family that focus more on your spirituality than material things, and you think it was by chance? Well, you're an adult now. You can go to college. Oh, but it's hard now because I have to pay. Oh, so now we want others to do what we want to receive. No. If we want something, we have to work for it. And what we receive is the end result of what we conquered in previous lives. So if we want people to be kind, we need to start being kind. If we want people to be loving, we need to sow loving. Maybe in previous lives we didn't sow those things, but now it's our turn. And that's when Dr. Seabra is going to merge into associations. He says, this, by thinking and being, this is how incarnate spirits, we, can influence discarnate entities and vice versa, provoking obsessions, disturbances, both in the physical sphere and beyond the grave. So, for example, if you open the first pages of the book Sex and Destiny, we're going to see André Luiz describing to us. He enters the house of Claudio, and Claudio comes from work. He likes social drinking. He has alcohol bottles in his dining room. He goes there, sits down at the couch. He's tired. But then comes Moreira, a partner of previous life, partner in addictions, sex addictions, alcoholic addictions. He comes and says, let's drink. Claudio automatically, without noticing that he is a puppet in Moreira's hands, he stands up, walks to the bottle, pours into the glass, and drinks. And then another spirit who is nearby comes and says, now it's my turn. And then he pours the alcoholic beverage into another drink. How many people sit down and say, no, I'm not going to drink, and then they drink 10 bottles that night? Like, I don't know what happened. They have no idea that we are living in two realms. And that's how Dr. Seabra is going to remind us of the opportunity that we have to learn to mourn the passing of a loved one. He says that when people discarnate, when we mourn the memory of someone who precedes us in the world, in the journey of death, we threw in this someone the ice of our tears of, or the fire of our torture, disturbing their heart every time the spirit is not strong enough to surpass our misfortune. And the reverse happens. And when one is absent from the flesh, so the discarnate one, bearing afflictions, sorrows coming from our conduct, they will hurl from the spiritual life upon our soul the magnetic darts of the unhappy remembrance they keep of us, harming our steps in the world in case we are not armed with regret to renew the situation, creating images of restorative harmony. So he's saying how we influence one another in two realms. So then you may be asking, Vanessa, what do I do? Dr. Seabra is a doctor. He's an educator. He's coming to give good news, okay? He's saying for this reason, it is appropriate to meditate on our ideals, our aspirations, people and things that we reflect upon because we are all subordinated by mental reflection to the phenomenon of connection. So you and I need to think and reflect. Do I have goals in life? Are they spiritual goals? Are they material goals? What are the people that I'm constantly thinking of, talking to? What are my aspirations in life? There are people who are just allowing life to let them go. And you know what happens? Life comes and takes us by. And we're like, how come I ended up here? Well, previous life choices. Because in this life, I made no choice. So I need to constantly be aware. Why am I talking to this person again? Am I just letting it flow or am I constructing good feelings? He says, this is an unquestionable law in all planes of the universe, the whole universe, the law of association. I think I connect. I feel I connect. I say I connect. I take action, I connect. Whom am I connecting with? We're inevitably attached to everything that contains our love. So, question for you and I, where's your heart? Jesus said, your treasure is where your heart is where your treasure is where your heart is, meaning where you focus your attention, where you focus your goals, your love. Where is it? Money, stocks, homes, cars, relationships, sex, food, beauty. What are we aiming at? And that's why now, as an educator and a doctor, he's leading us into the solutions. He's saying incarnate and discarnate human intelligence can contribute through the power of will to the education or re-education of themselves by selecting the resources capable of favoring improvement. So, what are the resources we are leading to improvement? What resources do we have? You and I are spiritists. We have the books. Great resources for educating ourselves. These books bring knowledge that can lead us to immortal wisdom. He says that mental reflection can grow in amplitude and sublimating beauty to absorb within itself the projection of superior thought. So you and I, as we think, we are emitting and reflecting into the world who we are and receiving from the world, absorbing the exact same thing. Andre Lewis says that in the book Mechanisms of Mediumship when he refers to the law of the mental field. Everything will depend on our purpose and decision. Everything we do will depend on our purpose and decision. Everything. Everything will depend on our purpose and decision. You may ask many people, what's your purpose in life? They are going to say, I don't know. What's your purpose in your life? I don't know. That means that their boat, imagine a boat, a sailing boat on the ocean. In the ocean, what's going to happen? If they don't have a direction, if the captain doesn't give a direction, the winds of life are gonna take them by. When we set a purpose, no matter the winds, we're gonna get there. And Spiritism is the compass, teaching us the north. And we need a decision. You're waiting for people to decide for you, or you're gonna make the decision for yourself. So to finalize his message, he has a prescription for us. He says, let us educate ourselves studying, meditating, to reflect the divine inspiration. It's not enough to read. Remember when we said last week, it's not enough to glance our eyes through the page of the book. We need to read, go deep, reflect, feel the scripture. to reflect the divine inspiration. Our mental attitude is what makes the difference. Our thoughts thirst for elevation so that our existence may elevate itself. Let us build balance and discernment within ourselves. Let us pay unceasing worship to kindness and understanding. And here's a man, Dr. Seabra, who was very, very kind, very understanding. And he says, desire is the magnet of life. When we desire, we feel. Through feeling, our soul assimilates what it seeks and transmits what it receives. Let us learn, therefore, to want the best, to reflect the best in our ascension to God. What is our desire? What is your desire? What is our desire? In the book Action and Reaction, we learn that our central theme, our basic desire, attracts situations. So today, our homework is to meditate on what am I desiring. In less than 30 minutes here together, you and I are studying about what we are desiring, what we want from life, what do we want to make of ourselves. If we want the best to reflect, we need to reflect the best of us onto the world, to attune with the higher forces. To finalize, I want to take you to a quick journey of a man from this book, Lessons of Life. Maurício Tessi. Maurício Tessi was only 36 years of age. He was sick, and the book tells us that the mother came interceding for him. The mother was in the spiritual realm, and she wanted to help him out. And the good spirit said, look, we're doing our best. Let me show you the folder. So they had the folder. Imagine, visualize a folder. I'm looking for a folder here, but I don't have a folder here. And in the folder, in the chart, they say, he has no individual merit to receive help. And the reason why he's sick is because this illness is defending him against obsession and madness. And the mother is puzzled. Like, how come? Look at the mental reflections. He's receiving the magnetic passes, but he still doesn't make a decision to be on the right track. So they show to the mother, look, minute by minute, observations from 25 days in 1967. They show from day 4 to day 13th, he goes into a crisis. And he feels faithful, prayerful, humble. The next day he's better. He feels tranquil, but then he starts feeling stubborn. Isn't that right? The minute we start getting better, we shift. And then as soon as he sees physical improvement, he starts his shady thoughts. The obsessors come nearby. And then the crisis begins again. And he goes, if you see, he goes into this mode time and again, time and again, time and again, time and again. When he's better, he starts being intolerant, imbalanced, and he starts having unmentionable thoughts, and the obsessors come. And then the physical body comes with illness to shield him from himself. This story is telling us about the importance to learn how to think beautiful thoughts, because often our sad, shady thoughts, imbalanced thoughts, um, pitiable ideas attract minds that can lead us to disasters. So, to finalize, let us go to our master. He is our guiding model. What was Jesus' desire? He often said it, to fulfill my Father's will. If He is our guiding model, let us also learn to desire the same. And what is God's will? That we care for one another, that we are kind, compassionate, understanding, that we serve each other. Let's meditate on this, friends, as we raise our thoughts in gratitude for this message that brings to us so much wisdom. Thank you, Mother, Father God, for the gift of Dr. Seabra's presence in our lives, for his presence, loving and kind, bringing to us awareness of the importance of thinking wisely, of feeling wisely, so we can connect with you more easily and fulfill your loving will. With much gratitude, we finish this study session in your name and love, and so be it. Dear friends, I know this study is pre-recorded because we are in the Spiritist Center right now doing the same study and talking with friends about it. But if you have a question or a comment or a suggestion, feel free to write here in the platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or the email cardiacradio@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to listen from you and reply to you. We wish you many blessings and beautiful mental reflections, sowing today what would like to reap tomorrow, which is love and peace. Thank you, friend.